What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have a very special episode for you. This is a quote talking about how to maintain self-improvement. It's from Seneca, and if you like this sort of content, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so this quote reads, "He who is not moved by the good he has received will never be moved by the evil he has escaped." And this is an interesting one from Seneca here. He's kind of giving us some advice on how to maintain self-improvement, or really, how to maintain virtue, because that's what he's referring to here, is being virtuous. And specifically, he's talking about when you escape something bad, when you escape temptation, when you escape some obstacle, some negative event, some sin, some destructive behavior, whatever it might be. If you're not thankful for that, then you're not really improved. You've learned nothing. You're just going to keep doing the same thing. So I want to talk about how we can remember this. How do we take this lesson and apply it to our lives? How do we make sure that when we escape those obstacles, we actually have grown, that we're improving ourselves? So there's a few things I want to discuss here. The first one is understanding that you need to be aware of your vices. You have to know what they are before you can avoid them. You have to understand what your weaknesses are. You have to understand what your temptations are. Otherwise, you don't know what you're avoiding. So the first step is awareness. You need to know what you're escaping. You need to know the thing that you've avoided. And this is why I think that journaling is such a great tool, because you can look back over your life, you can look at your past experiences, you can look at your mistakes, your failures, your temptations, the things that you fell into that you wouldn't consider good habits. And you can start to see patterns emerge. And in fact, Seneca talks about this too. He says that in order to get to wisdom, you must be willing to go through every part of your life and understand why those decisions were made, understand why you did the things that you did. It's kind of like in that video game, Ready Player One, where he goes into the different levels and he revisits his childhood memories and all these significant moments in his life. In a way, that's what we have to do. We have to go through the different levels of our life, and we have to revisit all these experiences, and we have to understand them. And so when we come out of that, we have a better idea of who we are. But that also gives us the ability to not fall back into those old habits and those old patterns. So the second thing that I want to talk about here is the importance of appreciating the present moment. This is why I think gratitude is such an important practice, because if you're always thinking about the future, if you're always worried about what could happen, what might happen, you're not really present. You're not really able to appreciate what you have right now. And this is what Seneca is getting at when he says that if you're not thankful for the good that you have, then you're never going to be thankful for the bad that you escaped. If you're not thankful for the present moment, for the blessings that you have, for the opportunities that you have, then you're never going to be thankful for the bad that you didn't experience, the suffering that you didn't experience. You have to be present. You have to be thankful. You have to be grateful for what you have right now. This is why mindfulness is another important tool, because it brings us back into the present moment. It brings us back into our bodies. It brings us into a state of awareness, a state of alertness, so that we can appreciate what we have right now, instead of always worrying about the future, always worrying about the past, because that's what Seneca is getting at here. If you're always focused on the future, if you're always focused on the past, you're never really appreciating what you have right now. You're never really thankful for the present moment. So in order to maintain self-improvement, in order to maintain virtue, we have to learn how to be present. We have to learn how to be thankful. We have to learn how to be grateful. All right, the third thing I want to talk about here is that sometimes we need to escape certain situations. Sometimes we need to escape certain people, places, things that are holding us back, things that are destroying us. And we have to be willing to walk away from that. We have to be willing to cut bait. We have to be willing to say goodbye. Because sometimes, in order to improve, in order to grow, we need to remove ourselves from the situations that are causing us pain, that are causing us suffering. We have to be willing to walk away from those things, even if it's hard, even if it's painful, even if it causes us grief. We have to be willing to do that in order to improve, in order to grow. And I think the best example of this is someone who is in an abusive relationship. Someone who is in an abusive relationship needs to be willing to walk away from that. They need to be willing to cut bait. They need to be willing to say goodbye, even though it's hard, even though it's painful, even though it causes them grief. Because staying in that situation is only going to cause more pain, more suffering. It's not going to lead to any type of improvement. It's not going to lead to any type of growth. It's only going to cause more destruction. So sometimes we need to be willing to walk away from the things that are destroying us. We need to be willing to cut bait. We need to be willing to say goodbye to those things, even though it's hard, even though it's painful, even though it causes us grief. Because walking away from those things, cutting bait, saying goodbye to those things, is the only way we're going to be able to improve, to grow, to change. So those are my thoughts on this quote from Seneca. Again, I think he's talking about the importance of virtue. He's talking about the importance of not falling back into old habits, not falling back into old patterns, not falling back into old vices. And I think the best way that we can do that is by practicing awareness, appreciating the present moment, and being willing to walk away from the things that are destroying us. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.